Today, Triumph announced the formal start of their partnership with the Indian company Bajaj, who are the world's third largest manufacturer of motorcycles and the second largest in India. Triumph say that the partnership will see the two companies with their respective strengths in large and small capacity motorcycles collaborate to design, engineer and manufacture a range of mid-capacity motorcycles. But Triumph aren't the only Western motorcycle company of late to take advantage of lower manufacturing costs in Asia. Any KTM of 390cc's and under is made by Bajaj. Harley-Davidson have partnered with Chinese manufacturer Chunzhong and are currently developing an affordable 338cc parallel twin. And Norton get their 650cc parallel twin motors from Zhongshen, another Chinese builder. And it makes sense for Triumph to go after some of the Asian markets, as the opportunity for volume of bikes sold is just immense. In 2019 in the UK, for example, some 107,551 bikes were sold in total. In the US, it was just short of 500,000, with about 150,000 of those being ATVs. But in India, in 2019, just over 19 million bikes were sold. 19 million! Granted, that includes three-wheelers and rickshaws, but the volumes are just huge. Another comparison worth making is the 2.5 million bikes that Bajaj sold in India in 2019, not including those produced on behalf of KTM. Then compare that to Triumph, who had record sales for the 6th year in a row of about 67,000 bikes globally. That's just 2.5% of Bajaj's Indian sales. But of course, it's not just a case of opening a few Triumph dealers in Delhi, because smaller capacity bikes sell best in Asia, and that's not exactly Triumph's forte. Take the 2.5 litre Rocket 3 for example, the largest capacity production bike on the market. Their smallest bike at current is the A2 friendly Street Triple S at 660cc's, which starts from £7,900, which is way larger and more expensive than the 125s and 250s that Bajaj or market leaders Hero typically produce. So the plan for the partnership is to produce a range of mid-capacity bikes, smaller than Triumph's current offering and potentially larger than Bajaj's. In their own words, the partnership will build a new engine and vehicle platform in the mid-capacity range, so 200 to 750cc's, and offer multiple options to address different segments in this class. They also say that the bikes will be affordable, with the goal of them starting at under 200,000 Indian rupees, which is around about the £2,000 mark. And what's interesting for us in the UK is that the new bikes should be making their way to our dealers as well. Not only will Bajaj take over Triumph's distribution in India and Asia, but the new mid-capacity bikes will also be made available across the entirety of Triumph's existing global dealer network. So that's got me thinking, what can we expect from this partnership, and will it be any good to the UK or US market? MCN spied 250cc prototypes of the Daytona and Street Triple being tested way back in 2013, and to me the latter seems like a pretty safe bet, as the Street Triple is an iconic line of bikes with a distinctive style that will translate well to a smaller displacement version. But I can't see that being too exciting for us in the UK unless you're on a learner license and really want to try Triumph. A smaller Bonneville type bike also seems like an obvious route, but again in the UK most of us would just prefer the full-size version. Perhaps where this partnership could contribute something of value to the UK market is a smaller capacity adventure bike. On almost every video I make about the Tiger 900, which is coming out soon, or the new Tiger 1200 special editions, or the Africa Twin, or whatever adventure bike it may be, there are comments saying that all adventure bikes are too big, too tall, and too heavy for real adventure, that most of us couldn't handle them off-road. So perhaps a baby Tiger might be on the cards, a Tiger Cub you might say. After all, Bajaj have form here. They currently own 48% of KTM, and as we've already said, produce all of their bikes up to 390cc's, including the KTM 390 Adventure that was launched at EICMA last year. That bike ticks a lot of boxes. It's smaller, lighter and cheaper than most other adventure bikes, but still has some of the big bike looks and high-spec equipment like Continental semi-off-road TKC 70 tyres, WP Apex suspension front and rear, and Bi-Brake brakes, which are a budget sub-brand of Brembo. Its 373cc single is good for 43 horsepower and 37 Nm of peak torque, which, combined with a dry weight of 158 kilograms, should be enough for a bit of short-haul adventuring. Surely it's not a huge leap to see a similar treatment being applied to the Tiger line of bikes. I'm interested in what you guys think though. Which Triumph would you like to see miniaturized? A 300cc rocket perhaps? Maybe not, but there's a lot of Triumph owners like me subscribed to the channel who care a lot about the company. Do you think that more small and mid-capacity bikes are good for punters in the UK? Or does the low-priced, large-volume approach detract for you from the Triumph brand? I get plenty of comments on the channel telling me that most Triumphs are now made in Thailand, a fact that I'm well aware of. But for me personally, I don't really care as long as the bikes are good and Triumph are making business moves that keep them healthy and competitive. And seeing the KTM 390 Adventure up close at EICMA was reassuring as it looked pretty much as well put together as other bikes on their stand. But like I say, I'm interested to hear your takes, so let me know in the comments and I'll try to get through them all. And as always, if you're new here and you want to see more of the latest motorcycling news here on YouTube, then hit subscribe and I'll see you next time.